Hey everybody, Fred here, TFG Media. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so if you're in the affiliate marketing, passive income website, SEO business, bombs have literally been dropped on us in the last few weeks. It started with Amazon announcing it's reducing all of its affiliate commission payouts, and then it's followed up by Google announcing its May core update to its ranking algorithm. And it's had huge impacts on websites of all sizes, really, over the last couple of weeks. So it's being touted the Force update or the pandemic update. And today I want to talk about what that update is, what it means, and how you can figure out ways to get that traffic back to your website. So I'm going to go through 10 different ways to do that. So that's what I'm doing in this video. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get going, I do want to say if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, smashing that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping new videos, and giving me a thumbs up if you learned something in this video. All right, thanks for joining. So if you have any questions or comments about anything I discuss in this video, please be sure to leave that in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so this May core update that Google has just rolled out and is still in the process of rolling out over the next couple of weeks is really taking a toll on small to medium-sized websites like yours and mine. It almost seems like this core update is really targeting these small and medium-sized websites and instead favoring the larger websites like Quora and the Reddits, these forum type sites that otherwise wouldn't have gotten the traffic or ranked higher than our websites where we have lengthy, comprehensive content that would typically beat out these forum type sites. So if your site has seen a significant loss or reduction in organic traffic, I'm going to go through 10 different tips that you can implement fairly easily to start pulling some of that traffic back. And so I'm going to run down the list of what I think are 10 best practices that you can implement on your websites, starting with number 10 right now. Okay, so number 10. My number 10 pick here is something called schema markup. Now, consider using schema markup on your websites. Google has been promoting this since 2011, and people are starting to positively report an increase or a boost in traffic because of using it. Now, I don't want to get into exactly what schema markup is. However, what I'll do is I'll leave a link down to a useful resource online where you can read up about it. But in short, in its very simplest forms, it's almost like adding tags or those metadatas to your posts so that Google, when it scans your post, has a better idea of what your post is about. So that's my number 10 tip. Okay, so my number 9 tip is really, depending on what your niche or your website is about, you should always be striving to provide an excellent customer experience and improve your site's performance. So if you're running an e-commerce site, make sure that it's very smooth for a customer or prospective customer to come to your site, find the product he or she wants, and then check out with that product very, very smoothly. And so this might be the time to start improving your customer experience and the performance of that experience. Okay, so my number 8 tip to start regaining maybe some of that lost organic traffic due to this update is to really find ways to reduce your bounce rate. Now, it is one of Google's ranking factors. If you look at the Google guidelines, there's about 200 of them, and bounce rate is one of them. And the way that you can reduce your bounce rate is by developing more engaging content. And not only just more engaging content, but finding ways to link to other articles or posts on your website so that when somebody comes to your post, They read it, but they don't bounce out of it straight away and maybe go somewhere else and start pogo sticking around. No, they read your content and then you somehow, in a convenient way, show them or link to another article that they may be interested in. And again, that just plays into, Google seeing that, hey, you've got engaging content and viewers and readers are really soaking it up. Okay, so my number 7 tip to, gain some of that organic traffic back after this, bomb that dropped on us of this May update is to really start to try to find ways to improve your page load speed. Now, I know people talk about this like crazy, but I mean, head on over to Google's Page Insights, do a speed test. There's other ones too, but I always, use Google as a metric because Google is going to be using itself to rank your page load speed. And so, I mean, what you want to strive for, and I mean, this sounds, easier than it really is, but you want to try to shoot for that 95 page speed load time. Now, I mean, if you're running ads, which most of us are, on your site, I mean, it's going to be next to impossible to reach those because, quite frankly, when your page is loading, I mean, it's polling multiple servers to pull those ads in. And so it's probably not realistic. However, if you're not running any kind of ads and you're not relying on ad revenue in that way, or Amazon affiliates in that way, you're just selling your own products, there is, really no reason why your website should be slow. So find ways, hire a developer if you need to get that page load speed increased. Okay, so for my number 6 tip, this one is, I don't know, it might be obvious, it might not be, but is really to be well liked, well linked, both internally and externally, and also socially. So what do I mean by that? Well, number 1, people should like you if you're the face of the channel or the face of the content that you're pushing out. They should, relate well to you. But then more importantly, you should have, internal links on your site. So it may be worthwhile to go through your site, do a little audit, internal audit, and make sure that you have a sufficient amount of interpost linking between articles on your own site. And then, of course, the backlinks. I mean, the backlinking, a lot of this, I don't recommend any kind of black hat type backlinking, tongue twister there. But I mean, white hat backlinks, backlinks are such a valuable component to getting your ranking factor. It's one of the highest ranking factors of Google. If you look at their Google guidelines, when people backlink to your content, that shows Google that you have authority. And especially if they're high authority backlinks, I mean, that's terrific. Now, I'm not going to get into how to start developing your own backlink strategy. I mean, I'll probably reserve that for another video. However, if you're watching this video, I assume you understand the importance of backlinks. And then, of course, having a social front end that links back to your site, have a YouTube channel, have a Facebook page, have a Twitter account, all of these, LinkedIn, having all of these social, getting those little links, even if they're no follow and they're not do follow links, I mean, it still shows Google that your brand is out there. Okay, so my number 5 tip is, it really kind of ties into the previous one where I was talking about interlinking posts, is really to start thinking about how you can develop multiple pieces of content that all link together. Now, this is known as something called content siloing. And so you want to start thinking about building content in multiple aspects that you can start to blend together. Now, Google will thank you for it, and it will thank you by ranking. So content siloing, I'm going to include a link into more information on what that exactly is in the description below, and you can check it out. But multiple pieces of content that fit together that you can internally link. Number 5. Okay, so for my number 4 tip is really, it's I mean, people say it all the time. Be original, be fresh, be accurate, and be current. That means don't let your content get stagnant or dated or old. Make sure it's original and make sure it's current. My number 4 tip for sure. All right, so number 3, and we're getting into the meaty ones now. So my number 3 tip is be authoritative, deep, be relevant, and make sure your posts are of sufficient length. Now, I would say for sure you don't want your posts to be any shorter than 1,000 words. I would argue you don't want them to be any shorter than 1,500 words, and you want to be able to scale those posts up to say 5,000 words. I mean, in my own experience, it's not even just my experience, these longer, meatier, more in-depth articles tend to perform better and get ranked higher on Google. So when you're developing posts or new articles for your websites, make sure there's depth, you have authoritative tone to them, and they are highly relevant. Okay, so my number 2 tip is really keep putting content out there. Focus on high quality content. I mean, content is king. I mean, I don't know how many people will say that to you, but really, content truly is the king. So keep pushing great content to your site and traffic will come. So that's my number 2 tip. So let's get into what the number 1 tip is right now. Okay, so my number 1 tip really just kicks number 2 into high gear, and that is to increase your content production. Increase your output. That could be through your blog posts, your Facebook pages, chiming in, creating an FAQ page. I mean, glossary pages, YouTube channel, push videos out there to offset or to try to offset that lost traffic. I mean, YouTube is a great way to offset this traffic. So consider, if you don't already have a channel, consider creating and pushing out video content to complement what you're already doing on your websites. So my number 1 tip to get us through this May 2020 force or pandemic Google update is to increase your content production. We're all at home right now because of this, this brutal, despicable virus that we're all facing. Now is the perfect time to increase your production. So consider doing that, and the traffic will come back and you'll be ranking higher on Google. I guarantee it. So this is Fred, TFG Media. I hope you found this video informative. If you learned something in this video, consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.